Welcome to the Blind Android Users channel. This is your source for everything Android, tutorials and demos, all from a blindness perspective. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more content like this.
Hello and welcome to this demonstration of Podcast Addict, which is my podcast client or podcatcher of choice. Podcast Addict is available for free, but there are also paid options to remove ads and access some premium features. As you'll see, it's quite a powerful, fully featured client, aside from, which for some people might be a deal breaker, the inability to sync across devices. In the main podcast episode 30, I said that whether this is a problem or not will largely depend on your use case. If you only ever listen to your podcasts on your phone, and you have one phone on which you listen to them, then Podcast Addict will be fine. If you like to resume your podcast listening on a range of different devices, you may want to have a look at a different app, like Pocket Casts or Google Podcasts. Now, what I'm going to do today is not go through the entirety of the app, because it is very rich and fully featured. I'll show you how to find and subscribe to a podcast. I will show you what options you have when it comes to streaming or downloading episodes, and we'll have a look at some of the player's features. And then I'll walk you through some, though not all, of the settings categories that we have, because it is a highly customizable app. I've opened it up and I have the default view on the main screen. I'll just take you through what we have on the main screen first.
Podcast. Open navigation sidebar button. Double tap to activate.
So that's the menu there where you can access various different views as well as settings.
Podcast. Update. Double tap to activate.
So that update button will essentially refresh all your podcast feeds so that the content on your main screen is up to date.
Show/iPlay content. Add new podcast. Double tap to activate.
We'll be going in there in a minute to add a new podcast.
More options button. Search button. Drop down menu. All categories. 7.
So that search there will, I think, search for podcasts in the app rather than podcasts more generally. I think in order to search for a podcast, you have to go to add new podcast, which we'll do in a minute. I'll just carry on exploring for a little while.
5 live boxing with Costello and Bunce. 2 row 1 column 1.
So now we're getting into some of the podcasts I have. This will show you both podcasts to which you are subscribed and podcasts to which you haven't subscribed, but you've started playing episodes from on your device. You don't have to subscribe to a podcast in order to play it. The advantage of doing so is that if you like the podcast, then new episodes are going to show up on your feed either as streams or as downloads, depending on what you've configured your podcast client to do. But the one you just heard, the 5 Live Boxing one, it just so happens I'm not subscribed to it, but I was listening to an episode a while ago. If I go into that podcast now, it won't just show me the episode I was listening to, it will show me all of the episodes, but it hasn't refreshed it automatically to show me the latest without me going into it, because, as I say, I am not subscribed to it. So we are then into the various other things I've subscribed to, and at the bottom of the screen,
2021_06_11-19_26_09.
That's a local file.
Selected 2021_ play/pause button.
And there's a play pause button there. Now I can, so it's fairly easy to resume the podcast that you were listening to at the time, or the local audio file. Podcast Addict supports those. You find that play pause button at the bottom of the screen. You can also expand the player so that you can get access to some of the other controls, and we're going to go and have a look at that in a minute once we've added a new podcast. So let's go and do that.
Open navigation site. Podcast. Update. Show/add new podcast.
Add new podcast.
New podcast. Open navigation sidebar button. New podcast. Search. Random pick. Podcast languages. Pick. More options button. Page. Sponsored. Remember your light. Learn about the root of your mental and physics. Page. Sponsored. RSS button. Out. RSS. Virtual button. Virtual. Radio button. Radio.
So as well as searching for podcasts, we can add an RSS feed. We can go and look at radio stations.
Search based button. Search based. Suggestions button. Suggest. Import button. Import.
I can import a file if I want to.
The Next Lander podcast. Next Lander. World's Greatest Con, Dog, and Pony Show Audio, column 2.
So now it's just got some suggestions down here. I'm going to add one in particular. I don't want it to suggest anything for me, so I'm going to go back to that search box. If I don't inadvertently touch a different bit of my screen anyway.
Search.
So I'm going to search here. And in the Europe at the minute, we have the Euro 2020 football championships. So the soccer championships. So I'm gonna go to the search field.
Search. Editing. Podcast name / keywords. Edit box. Double tap and hold the long press. Editing options available. Use swipe up then right to view.
And as ever, when there's a major tournament, the BBC does a lot of podcasts around it. The one I want is called Euros Daily. It gives daily updates, as the name suggests, from the tournament. So let's go and add it.
R-O-E-E-U-U-R. Showing items 1. O. Showing item 1. S. S. Space. Euros. D. D. A. A. I. I. L. L. Y. Y. Search. 43 results. English, UK, QWERTY, keyboard hidden. Search, open navigation sidebar. Search, search, sort. More options. Selected, podcasts, episodes, people, results for Euros Daily. Drop down menu, all categories. Daily Euros. BBC Football Daily. BBC Radio 5 Live. 79 episodes. 41 minutes. Last episode. 17 hours ago. Weekly 17.2k subscribers. And list.
Oh, Daily Euros. I got the name the wrong way around, but there it is. And you might have heard there. You have different things you can sort these results by. So if you were looking for an episode about a particular piece of technology, I don't know, maybe one of the apps we featured, another way to find it might be to do a search on something about the episode title if you couldn't perhaps remember what podcast you'd heard it on, or it's just more convenient to find it that way because the podcast has numerous episodes. So that's another option. Obviously everyone remembers what this podcast is called, so that's not a scenario you would be experiencing. Anyway, we found Daily Euros, as it corrected me. I'm going to go in here.
Daily Euros. BBC Football Daily. Open navigation sidebar. Button out of Daily Euros. Copy feed URL to clipboard.
So if we wanted to share the podcast, that's quite handy. A copy feed URL. So if someone says, how do I subscribe to the Blind Android Users podcast? You could just find it in Podcast Addict. Although obviously you'd already be subscribed to it, so you could locate it, go in there, and you would find the copy feed URL, so you could share it with them.
Daily Euros. BBC Football Daily. BBC Radio 5 Live. Subscribe button.
So here's a subscribe button. So I'm going to hit this.
Unsubscribe.
And you can see the status has changed. So it will now notify me and indeed download, if that's what I ask it to do, daily episodes waiting for me in my inbox. I'll talk about, although in the podcast here anyway, I'll talk about the pros and cons of doing that in a minute.
17 hours ago, 79 episodes, 41 minutes. English Weekly 17.2k subscribers, 1/5. 1 reviews. Reviews. Episodes. Sports. Web view. The latest UEFA Euro 2020 news, insight, and analysis from Mark Chapman, Steve Crossman, Emma Saunders, and the rest of the BBC Radio 5 Live Football Daily team. https://podcasts.files.co.uk/d02nrs. You may also like.
So I'm going to go back up here.
Sports. Episodes.
You'll have heard it say episodes. So let's go into episodes and see what we've got.
Daily Euros. BBC Football Daily. Open navigation sidebar. Daily Euros. Unsubscribe button. Kane crushes Ukraine as England cruise into the last four. 11 hours ago. Reaction as England thrash Ukraine to make the semi-finals of Euro 2020. 37-27.
So that's the latest one. England beat Ukraine yesterday by 4-0, and that podcast's reflecting on that. Let's see what options we've got.
Download button.
And download it.
Contextual menu button.
So context menu.
Italy and Spain in the last four. Contextual menu.
So we can either download it or we can go into this context menu, which I'm going to do. See what we've got.
Daily Euros. BBC Football Daily. Unsubscribe and list. Play.
So I can play the episode without having to download it. I can just stream it.
Add to playlist. Download. Favorite. Copy feed to clipboard.
And we've got some of the other options we've seen, and we can obviously favourite this as an episode, which is another view that we have in the podcatcher.
Favorite.
So I'm going to play it, so you can have a look at the player.
Add to playlist. Play. Streaming for offline. Podcast Addict. Open navigation sidebar. Button out of list. 1.0x.
It is playing, but very quietly.
Sleep timer. Favorite. Share. Favorite. Episode description. Button. Selected. Kane crushes Ukraine as England. Episode description. Button. Selected. Kane crushes Ukraine as England cruise into the last four. Accessibility volume set to 70%.
So I've raised the media volume. It was stuck on accessibility.
Daily Euros. BBC Football Daily 4720. Episode description. Button. Take to skip 15 backward. Button.
So we're into the
Tap to
player
activate.
controls
Previous
now.
track.
I want to show you this.
3635. 2%. Slider. 0053. Open navigation sidebar. Button. 1 point. Sleep timer. 1.0x.
So that 1.0x is a speed control. So it's worth looking at this.
Expand. Off. Speed. Expand. Button. 0.8x. 1.0x. 1.2x. 1.5. 1.7x. 13%. Slider. Disabled. 1.7x.
So let's see what happens if I set it to 1.7 times the speed.
Podcast Addict. Off. Speed adjustment. Switch. On. Expand. 0.8x.
Oh, I had to turn on speed adjustment, that's why that didn't work.
28%. 1.7x. Button. Podcast Addict. 1.7x.
The semi-finals, you start to think
And you'll see, even though we're streaming it, it's sped up the play. So the 1.0x is the speed control. You then double tap that, turn on the speed adjustment, and then you can select an increment. My mistake was not to turn it on.
hand side, it's been brilliant.
Skip 30 forward. Button.
Running forwards and crossing the ball and being dangerous.
Overview. Play / pause. Button.
So these controls are located towards the bottom of the screen. There's play,
Skip
pause.
15 backward. Previous track. Button.
Previous
Double select.
track, we've
Skip
got-
Ukraine as England cruise into the table. Skip 30 click home. Button. Navigate / pause. Button.
So you get the
Podcast
idea.
Addict.
I'm
Double
going
tap
to
activate.
play, pause it. Pause it. It was playing, obviously. So there we go. We have listened to and played a podcast. I don't think this one does support chapter navigation because it's a fairly short podcast. There aren't any chapters in that one. Podcast Addict supports chapter navigation, though, so I might just go and show that. Perhaps using one of our own blind Android users' podcasts to do that with. So I'm going to get us back to our main screen.
Back button. Updated podcast. Updated progress. 80 new episodes. Podcast Addict. 80 new episodes.
80 new episodes,
Podcast.
you see,
Open
because
navigation
I've
sidebar.
just
Button.
subscribed
Double tap
to
activate.
that one, and it's just updated my feed. So, as I say, that means you get notified of new and obviously old episodes automatically. So there they all are, if I went in there. But let's just go and show you chapters.
New podcast. Search. Random podcast. More options. The next Lander podcast. Back. But. Podcasts. Open navigation. Podcast. Update. Show select. Add new. More options. Search. Drop down. 5 live. Apple Vis. Blind Android users podcast.
Blind Android users, here we
Episodes
go.
list. Open navigation. Drop down. Update. Show select. Action. More options. Blind Android users. Unlabeled. But. Blind Android users. Podcast description. Custom settings. Drop down menu. All. Search. Button. E30. Episode 30. July 4th special. Podcast clients and granted from movie voice control. 8
So
hours.
here we go,
Blind
this
Android
is
users.
episode
All are-
30.
Podcast Addict. Open navigations. Chapter / bookmarks. Button.
So there's the
Double tap
chapters
to activate. Double
bookmarks
tap
button.
to add to playlist. Button. Daily Euros. DBK home. Button. Chapter / bookmarks. Button. Double dot Warren Carr. Dot chapter / bookmarks. Button. Out of it.
So I can go in here,
Bookmarks. Open navigation. Bookmark. Add.
and that button is
Double tap to
also
activate.
sort of towards the bottom of the screen, maybe about 2/3 down.
Export. Page. Kate crushes Ukraine as England cruise. Selected. Kate crushes Ukraine as. Selected. Kate crushes page. Double tap and hold to long press. Labels available. Use. Export. Add. Bookmarks. Open navigation sidebar. Book. Add. Export. Page. Kate crush. Selected. Kate
So
crushes Ukraine. Back. Button.
that was
Page bar.
still for the previous episode. I haven't gone far enough with episode 30 yet. I need to play it first, I think.
Podcast Addict. Open navigation sidebar. Button. Message. Telegram. Play / pause. Button.
It's time for your favorite Android podcast from the crew of Blind
Yeah,
Android
so the
Users.
chapters bookmarks button will show you for the previous podcast we played, so have to play this one first.
As they navigate Android from a blind.
Home.
Pause
Button.
that for a minute.
Play / pause. Button. Selected. Episode 30. July 4th. Sped 0%. Select play / pause. Skip 30. Next track. Skip. Skip flip. Previous track. -01. 0%. Episode description. Button. 0%. Slider. Selected. Episode description. Button. Double tap to activate. 0%. Slider. Skip 30 forward. Button. Next track. Chapter / bookmarks. Button.
And the
Double tap
chapters
to activate.
bookmarks
Double tap
is
and
on the
hold to long
right hand side now, towards the bottom of the screen. Again here.
Chapter / bookmarks.
See what
Open
we've got.
navigation. Chapters. Selected. Bookmarks. -1. Introduction. 3. Unlabeled. Button. Unlabeled. Button. 2. Announcement. 54S. 000328. Double
So
tap to act. Unlabeled. 3. Unlabeled. 3. Introduction to podcast apps and which apps do we use. 9 minutes. 000422.
this is,
Double
we'll
tap
go
to
to
activate.
chapter
Double
3.
tap and hold to. Chapters 9. Chapters 9. Chapters 9. Chapters. Chapter selected. Episode 30. July 4th special. Podcast clients and parameters for movie voice control. Out of list. Chapters 9. Chapters. Chapter home. Episode 30. July 9. Conclusion. 2 minutes. 6. Interview with parameter. Open navigation sidebar. Button. Out of list. Chapters 9. Chapters 9. Chapters. Chapter back.
So I'm going to back out of
Chapters
here.
9. Podcast Addict. Chapter / bookmarks. Button.
the must-have apps that we've been taking you through is podcasts.
And we went to chapter 3, as you heard.
Play / pause.
Now, and you'll have also heard that we are back at normal speed, although obviously you can go and change that. You can set a universal speed if you want. Now, what you'll have heard when I hit chapter 3 was for Talkback to repeatedly say that there were 9 chapters, which had the effect of cutting off me, as it happens, as we were listening to chapter 3. Which was the introduction to the podcast apps section of episode 30. So what I did to stop that was just to hit the back button, the bottom left-hand corner back button on my nav bar, because Podcast Addict doesn't always have a navigate up button or a back button in the top left. It's a little inconsistent in that regard. That screen didn't. So we hit the back button, and that closed out the chapter bookmarks view, got us back, and then once it had finished chuntering to itself, the podcast was able to resume, and we could have carried on listening to it had we wanted to. Now, that's probably enough on adding to subscribing to streaming and downloading episodes. You'll see that's all fairly straightforward. We didn't actually download anything, but you saw that there's a fairly easy accessible download button. I'm now going to take you into the menu, or the navigation drawer as Podcast Addict calls it, and we'll see what's in here.
Menu. 1.0x. Sleep timer. Favorite. Share. More option. Podcasts. Radio stations. Back button. Navigation.
It's context specific
Back
a little
button.
bit, so I'm going to get us back to a main screen. We
Podcast
could have got
Play button.
some of the main options had we carried on scrolling down, but I don't really want to show that. I want to show
Podcasts. Light Android.
the menu
Back
as it is
Hyperion.
from
Search.
the main
Personal
screen,
access.
really.
Double tap.
So now we're
Double
going
tap.
to go into the navigation sidebar.
Menu. Podcasts. Update.
So we
Double
can
tap to
update
activate.
our feed.
Show/high play content. Add new podcast. More options. Button. Podcasts. Radio stations. Player. Playlist. 14/1/. Download manager. Episodes. Recent episodes. Downloaded episodes. 3.
So this is
Activate.
handy. If you want just to get to the episodes you've downloaded, and you don't want to see anything else, you can just go there. Similarly, you can get an episode view. So quite handy, different ways you can get this to work.
Favorite episodes. Playback in progress. 13. Double tap to
So we
activate.
can listen to all the podcasts that we haven't quite finished.
All 120. Double tap to
We
activate.
just get it to show everything.
Find local episodes. Double tap to activate.
We can find things stored on our phones.
Update button. Add new podcast button. Settings button.
And I'm going to go into settings. I am not, absolutely not, going to take you through everything in settings. I'm just going to highlight some of what I think are the more useful ones, and the ones perhaps with some implications.
Settings. Navigate up button. Settings. Search and list. Search. Edit box. Podcast Addict Premium. Paid subscription to support the app development and get extra features.
We'll go and have a look in here, see what we get if we want to give them more money than we've already given them.
Podcast Addict Premium. Navigate up button. Podcast Addict Premium features. Remove Google Ad Banner already owned. Real-time update. Select opening screen. Playlist widget. More themes available. Hide sponsored podcasts. Remove app name when sharing. Help make the app sustainable as ad revenue keeps decreasing. Full list and more to come. Monthly subscription, 99p/month. Yearly subscription, £9.49 per year. 6 asterisk. First year discount for existing paid users. Subscribe button. 99p/month. Cancel anytime. Subscription automatically renews until you cancel it in your Google Play account anytime before the current billing period ends.
So you got the idea. So that real-time update thing is interesting. One of the settings you can go into is essentially to tell it how often to update itself. Obviously, you can hit the update button, which we've demonstrated. But if you pay for this, it will just literally pull new episodes down as they come on stream. So if you want to do that and get rid of some of the other ads, I've got rid of some of them already with my one-time purchase. You'll have heard there's no lifetime option here. It's an annual or it's a monthly. So I'm going to come out of here. I'll use the rarely offered navigate up button. You will find yourself perhaps using your general back gesture or the back button on your nav bar with this app, because quite often that menu button is in the top left-hand corner. Anyway, we'll carry on.
My account, sign in, manage lists, reviews, categories, priorities, subscriptions, playback stats.
So
Tap to activate.
you can sign in to here. That's mainly for cloud backups and posting reviews. It does not offer syncing. You can see your stats, see how much you've listened to, all sorts of stuff. If that's the sort of thing you're interested in, you'd go in here to do it. I'm not going to show that.
Backup/restore at 0257 every 24 hours. Double tap to activate.
Fairly self-explanatory.
Language. App UI. Podcast language. Advanced. Heading. Display. Theme. Quick actions. Opening screen. Show/hide play content. Flash Bluetooth configuration. Double tap to activate.
I'm not particularly interested in that.
Update. Automatic update. Frequency. Double tap to activate.
We'll go in here. Automatic update and frequency.
Update. Navigate up. Button. Update. Concurrent update pound. Select the number of podcasts that will be updated simultaneously. Be careful not to select the number too high because it might slow down the device during update and or might fail because of memory issue. -3 in list. Automatic refresh at 0700 every 24 hours.
So I have 3 episodes set to kind of update concurrently. If there are more than that, it'll just do them later. I've set it to update every 24 hours at 7 a.m. Let's just see what my options were in here.
Automatic refresh. Navigate up. Automatic refresh. Enable podcasts. Automatic refresh. Tick box. Real-time update. Premium feature. Subscription required to change this behavior. When enabled, the app will automatically receive new episodes by push messages. Warning only works for podcasts supporting web sub protocol. Not ticked. Tick box. Refresh rate. Podcasts automatic refresh rate -24 hours. Double.
Let's see how often we could have
30
set
minutes.
this.
List. 1 hour. 2 hours. 4 hours. 8 hours. 12 hours. Tick. 24 hours.
So even if you're not a premium subscriber, you can have it update every half an hour. How useful it is to get a podcast more immediately than that, you'll have to judge for yourself. And you might have heard it say that your podcast has to support a specific web sub protocol for that feature to work. So if that's something you want, then think about it. But you can set this to refresh every half an hour. So I'll back out of this particular bit.
Automatic refresh. Navigate up. Button. Update. Automatic refresh. Refresh on startup. Start updating podcast feeds when device starts up. Not ticked. Tick box. Double tap to activate.
So that's fairly self-explanatory. You could set it to do that.
Folder refresh. Allow updating podcasts by pulling the podcast/episodes list. Tick box. Skip completed podcasts. Exclude podcasts from future updates when their RSS feeds contain the completed flag. This will make the update process faster and use less resources. Not ticked. Tick box. Comments. When the podcast allows it, download the comments attached to new episodes. Further updates will be manual. Not ticked. Tick box.
So that's the other things in that
Navigate
particular
up.
bit of the settings category.
Settings. Update. Automatic download. Automatic download. Download limit. Storage folder.
So
Tap to activate.
this is another one I want to show you.
Download. Navigate up. Button. Up. Download. Concurrent download pound. Select the number of podcasts that will be downloaded simultaneously. Be careful not to select the number too high because it might slow down the device during downloads and or might fail because of memory issue. -1 in list. Automatic download. Enable new episodes. Automatic download. Will have no effect during every podcast's initial update. Not ticked. Tick box. Double tap to archive mode. By default, automatic download. Enable new episodes. Automatic download. Will have no effect during every podcast's initial update. Not ticked. Tick box.
So
Double tap to activate.
you can have it download automatically. That will have memory implications for your phone. I'm probably all right, but I don't subscribe to that many podcasts. If you do, then you might not want them all to download automatically because you'll soon run out of storage. Although, as you've probably heard, there are options to have this delete podcasts once you've listened to them, or podcast episodes, should I say. It says that automatic download does not apply in the initial update. That's a good thing. When we added the Daily Euros, you'll have heard it say 79 or 80 episodes added. Had it tried to download all of that, that would have been quite annoying. So that's why it doesn't, because you might add a podcast well into its life.
Archive mode. By default, automatic download only downloads new episodes as they are published. Enable this setting if you want the app to automatically download older episodes. The app will then keep up to X episodes downloaded based on your automatic cleanup setting. Don't forget to set a limit. Not ticked. Tick box. Disabled.
Yeah, so you could have it pull down all those old episodes, but then, as it says, if you forget to set a limit for automatic cleanup, then you're going to have a very full phone if you subscribe to a lot of podcasts.
Download when subscribing. Number of episodes to automatically download when you subscribe to a new podcast. None. Double tap to mark as played when deleted. When an episode is manually deleted, it will be marked as played. You can select different behavior for automatic deletion actions and settings /automatic cleanup. Tick box. Batch download limit. Maximum number of episodes that will be downloaded at once for a single feed in case of automatic download. It also applies in case of a download unplayed episodes action. It does not apply in case you select a list of episodes to download. -20 episodes. Download order first. Reverse default order when downloading multiple episodes. By default, new episodes are downloaded first. Not ticked. Tick box.
So if you have a serial podcast or something, or it's one looking at a true crime over multiple episodes, this setting's probably going to be of interest. It'll pull down the older ones first, not the newer ones.
Share with other apps. Allow other apps like Google Music, Sonos to see and index your downloaded podcasts. Not ticked. Tick box. Play downloading episode. By default, if you start playing an episode which is downloading, the app will start streaming. Enable this to start playing the local file which is currently downloading. Depending on the file encoding, this might not work properly. Not ticked. Tick box. Sync with local files. If for some reason the app failed to find local files and mark the episodes as not downloaded, please use this feature so the app can scan the storage folder and try to match local files with episodes. Double storage folder. Customized download storage folder. SD card or internal memory custom folder. Used space. 420 MB free space.
And that's that for downloads.
Back button out. Settings. Download. Network, mobile data usage management, 4G/LTE, Wi-Fi.
So this is another important one if you are downloading, also streaming to be fair. So if you're on a data cap, you'll want to be cognizant of the settings in here. Similarly, if you aren't, you might as well get money out of that unlimited data and get your money's worth out of it and use it. So let's go see what I've got set here.
Network, navigate up, button, network, data usage, heading, and list, episodes download, no restriction, not ticked, tick box. Streaming, no restriction, not ticked, tick box. Radio station, live, no restriction, not ticked, tick box. Update, no restriction, not ticked, tick box. Thumbnails download, no restriction, not ticked. Google Drive, Wi-Fi only, ticked, tick box. Chapter extraction, Wi-Fi only. Advanced, heading, quality versus storage/data, quality versus storage/data, default file. Metered Wi-Fi restriction, when enabled, the app will apply the same mobile data restriction to metered Wi-Fi connections, not ticked, tick box. Captive portal detection, this allows the app to avoid downloading when the device is connected to a captive portal. A captive portal can be a Wi-Fi hotspot requiring authentication like in a hotel. Disabled is if you're in China, otherwise every download will fail, ticked, tick box. Navigate up, network, no restriction, not ticked, tick box, and list. Streaming, no restriction, episodes download, no restriction, not ticked, tick
So I'm
box.
going to see what some of these restrictions ones
Wi-Fi
are.
only, ticked. Streaming, no restriction, not ticked, episodes download, Wi-Fi only, ticked, tick box. No restriction, not ticked.
So that's what we want. Not brilliantly labelled that actually. So it was already on no restriction even though that's unticked.
Streaming, no restriction, not ticked, tick box. Wi-Fi only.
And
ticked.
that will put it onto
No
Wi-Fi
restriction.
only.
Radio station, live, no restriction. Update, no restriction. Thumbnails download, no restriction, not ticked, tick box. Google Drive, Wi-Fi only, ticked, tick box. No restriction.
Or you might as well
Not
set that to no restriction to
Google
I'm
Drive,
on
no
an
restriction,
unlimited
not ticked, tick box.
data connection.
Double tap to act.
So
Back, button, up. Settings, network, mobile data. Player, audio player, video player, audio effects, headset, network, player,
So it's
audio
worth
player,
having a
video
look in the
audio
player
effects, headset,
section
Bluetooth,
here.
remote controls. Player, navigate up, button, player, audio player, player engine, playback speed, volume boost, mono audio, skip silences, equalizer, and list.
So I'll show you some of these settings.
Audio player, navigate up, internal audio player, use the internal player for audio content, tick box, and
I
list.
quite like the internal player.
Player engine, select which player to use for playback, EXO player, equalizer, open the device default equalizer. The selected settings will only apply when the app built-in audio effects, playback speed, volume boost, and skip silence are disabled.
I'm not going to do that.
Audio effects, heading, playback speed, select the default playback speed. This can be easily overridden by podcast to the player screen. This feature will increase the CPU/battery usage 1.0x.
So it's currently set to normal, but as I said, we could go in here and change it to up to 2 times for some of the podcasts.
Volume boost, boost the device volume for every podcast. This can be easily overridden by podcast to the player screen. This feature will increase the CPU/battery usage, not tick box.
So if you find some hosts quiet, you could go in here and get it to boost the volume for you.
Audio, combine channels when playing audio, not tick box. Silence skipping, skip silences automatically when listening to a podcast. This can be easily overridden by podcast to the player screen. This feature will increase the CPU/battery usage. Total time saved, 0,000, not tick box.
So that's another time-saving feature. It'll get rid of those silences for you, as well as the increase in speed, which is also the other time-saving thing. And that's it for audio. I don't think I need to show you video.
Audio, video, radio station, player engine. Player banner, display the player banner when starting the app. In order to simplify resuming last episode playback, tick box.
Yeah, there's a player banner towards the bottom of the screen. We've spoken about that.
Keep player screen on. Prevent the screen from turning off when the player screen is displayed. Not tick box. Transcript. When provided by the RSS feed, the player screen will show live subtitles. For now, only a few RSS feeds hosted by Buzzsprout support this. Not tick box. Remote controls. Enable/disable remote controls. App priority. Headset/Bluetooth. Plug/unplug behavior.
So if you do use it with an external headset, it'd be worth looking in
Player
there.
controls. Skip chapters. Shuffle mode. Loop playback. Jump backward/forward duration. Long press deletion. Double tap.
We'll go look at player controls.
Navigate up. Player control. Jump backward. 15 seconds. And list. Jump forward. 30 seconds.
So we can change the behaviour of these skip buttons. How far or forward do we want them to skip?
Skip out row. By default, the app will skip to the next episode after the current one has been fully listened to. This setting allows the app to consider the episode as played after a specific percentage has been reached. Once reached, pressing on the fast forward button will automatically skip the remaining of the episode and switch to the next episode in the playlist 100%.
So if you're not going to listen to every feature of a podcast, maybe it's pretty formulaic, there's always a bit you like and you don't want to have to kind of bother scrolling through the rest of it, you might want to alter this percentage. For most people, I think you won't want an episode to be marked as played and skip to the next one until you've actually listened to it.
100% slider. Skip chapters/bookmarks. Enable this feature if you want to use the previous/next episode buttons to switch to the previous/next chapter or bookmark. Not tick box.
So that's really clever. Rather than faffing about going into the chapters as we did, you could change those next track, previous track buttons to be next chapter, previous chapter. So that might be something worth doing.
Shuffle mode. Add a shuffle button to the player screen to allow playing episodes in random order. Not tick box.
I don't know why you'd want to do that.
Loop playback. Add a loop button to the player screen to allow repeating the current episode or the whole playlist. Not tick box.
Or that.
1.0x progress. Show the real 1.0x position when trying to set a specific playback position in the player screen while playback speed is enabled. Not ticked. Tick box. Long press deletion. Delete episode when long pressing on player previous / next track buttons. Ticked. Tick box.
So there we go.
Back
We'll
button.
skip out of, come out of here.
Player controls. Skip chapters. Shuffle mode.
I'm going to
Back.
come out of the player settings as well
Settings.
because
Player audio.
we'll be
Players.
here all day
Players.
otherwise.
Configuration. Needs internal player enabled.
I'm not going to look at
Activate.
playlists.
Automatic cleanup. Automatic deletion of played episodes. Of old episodes. Artwork. Notifications. Customize player notification. Navigation sidebar. Customize the navigation sidebar behavior and display. Widget. Customize widget background and behavior. Android Auto. Customize Android Auto extra controls. Share. Default share in action. Automatic sharing via Twitter. MISC. Heading. Fact / getting started guide. Online fact and getting started guide. Feedback / contacts. Bug report. Feature request. Contacts. Rate the app. Please take a minute to about licenses. Privacy policy.
So the one I do want to show you is automatic cleanup, because that is important, as I say, if you subscribe to a lot of podcasts and download them. So let's go see what happens in here.
Automatic cleanup. Navigate up. Automatic delete. Delete downloaded episodes when you mark them as played manually. Not ticked. Tick box. And list. Double tap to activate. After playback. Heading. Delete. Delete downloaded episodes once they have been fully listened to. Not ticked. Tick box. Mark played. Mark episodes as played once they have been fully listened to. Tick. Tick box. Limit number of downloaded files. Heading. Keep at most. Maximum number of downloaded episodes. To keep for each podcast. Unlimited. Delete older episodes. Episodes older than the selected period will be automatically deleted. Uses the download date, not the publication date. Disabled. Mark played on deletion. Mark episodes as played when they are automatically deleted. Tick. Tick box. Recycle bin. Heading. Move the recycle bin. Keep automatically deleted episodes in the recycle bin for a specific duration. Once this duration is over, episodes are deleted from the storage. Until then, they can be restored immediately. Trash disabled. Mark unplayed on restoration. Mark episodes unplayed when they are restored. Tick. Tick box. RSS. Heading. Keep sits with RSS feed. By default, the app keeps adding new episodes as they are published and never deletes old ones. When enabled, this setting will delete episodes when they aren't available in the RSS feed anymore. Warning. Downloaded episodes and favorite episodes won't be affected. Not ticked. Tick box. Keep unplayed episodes. When enabled, unplayed episodes won't be deleted by the keep sits with RSS feed setting. Tick. Tick box. Artwork. Heading. Delete artwork. Delete episodes artwork automatically when they are marked as played. Tick. Tick box. Resize artwork files. Some podcasts are using huge artwork files. Check this setting to resize them and save some space while keeping the high-res image. Tick. Tick box. Advanced. Heading. Keep favorite episodes. Enable this if you don't want favorite episodes to be cleaned up. They will be totally ignored by the automatic deletion process. Not ticked. Tick box. Delete unsubscribed episode entries. Enable this if you want episode entries to be removed from the app when an episode from an unsubscribed podcast is deleted. Not ticked. Tick box. Actions. Heading. Force cleanup. Automatic cleanup is usually triggered when a new episode of a podcast is downloaded. Press here if you want the app to check every podcast and delete downloaded episodes based on your current settings. Artwork cleanup. Delete podcasts and episodes artworks that aren't used anymore. This can take a few minutes. This is a map.
So as you can see, you've got a whole host of customization options to make sure that you're not having too many podcasts on your phone. It gives you very precise controls over what happens to episodes, when they're deleted, what is deleted, what isn't. So well worth having a play in there. I think those are the main settings categories, and I think that probably brings us to the end of this demonstration. I hope I've given you a feel for some of the power of the app. It perhaps isn't the smoothest interface in the entire world, little bit clunky, but that said, I think for the features it offers, for me, it's a great podcast or client or podcatcher to consider.
Thanks for listening to another clip from the Blind Android Users channel. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you're notified of every new material that we upload. Thanks again for listening to the Blind Android Users channel.